What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got some ShinoBird hotness for you guys to check out. Some of you are probably going to sigh and say, come on, Cap. ShinoBirds are one of the most maligned archetypes from the entire Arc V era. What exactly can they do? I don't really know that ShinoBirds, like a pure version, can do all that much, but I do believe if you add in other archetypes, especially like other spirit monsters, Nikitama and Aratama, those were cards I used to run in Utopia back in the day. These cards are fantastic because what they allow you to do, especially if you get them in conjunction with Brilliant Fusion, you can send Nikitama to the graveyard as your light for Seraphonite, and if you have a spirit monster on the field, you get to draw a card. It's not a hard once per turn, so you can basically use that effect multiple times, which you'll see in this first turn. And since you get the additional normal summon, Aratama can just like search, and you can get like rank 4 Xyz. It's actually pretty legitimate, and this is kind of interesting because this is ShinoBirds going first, which you never really think about ritual decks going first unless it's like Herald or Necroz with the Genlock, but definitely not ShinoBirds, right? Because they remove cards from off the field. So why would you ever want to go first with them? Well, let's go ahead and answer that question. He's playing against new zombies. You can see the new zombie boss monster. Alright, so you saw right there, activate a Brilliant Fusion. He uses his first normal summon on Nikitama since he has a spirit monster on the field, which is the Nikitama. He is going to draw a card. Again, not a hard once per turn. Now he's going to go ahead, he's going to activate pre-preparation of rights just so he can get all his Shino stuff together. Alistair is going to come down, get him invocation. He goes for the ShinoBird's calling, and this is really cool, right? So since he tributed his Nikitama on field, he's going to go ahead and he's going to activate the Peacock effect. Peacock effect is chain link 2, and then he's actually going to get I believe he's going to get Amano Awada on the field, and he's going to be able to activate his Nikitama and draw a card as well. He's just going to top that off with a copy of Merkaba, and look at this turn 1 field. He doesn't get to keep the ritual, he doesn't get to keep Peacock, obviously, because it is a spirit monster, unfortunately, but not only does he have a Merkaba, not only does he have Alistair the Madness, he's going to get himself 2 tokens, and since Amano Awada was summoned from the deck, ignoring its special summon condition where, you know, you can't special summon spirit monsters, it will not return to the hand. Like spirit monsters outside of the ShinoBirds, they have to be normal summon for them to bounce to the hand. So this effect, well, it's not effect negation because monsters just can't activate their effects unless they're spirits. This is basically permanent. So what exactly do you do against this field? And actually, I guess we can discount the Brilliant Fusion because that's not real card economy. If we look at the amount of cards he has on the field, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then he still has 4 in hand. So that would be 10 cards without counting the Brilliant Fusion. That's a turn 1 plus 5. That is very legitimate. And if you were playing against like Goki, what exactly are they doing against Amano Awada? Like, I guess they could try to attack over it. And then, by the way, he can still activate Peacock's effect because Amano Awada only lets spirit monsters activate their effects. So he, you know, the Baroness is obviously still a spirit monster. So she can still bounce stuff, but the game is just over at that point. Let me show you guys another duel with this deck. This one is actually going second, which that's pretty much the bread and butter of ShinoBirds, and I believe he's facing off against, it's not going to be an extra deck. Let me swap this back, but it's going to be pretty damn close. He's facing off against Goki Hero, which is kind of a popular deck in the OCG. For the most part, a lot of the plays in this deck are the same. You just want to get the ISO just like you do with a regular Goki deck. You can see he has Joel, I guess, if he's going second or something like that. You do get the ability to potentially summon Dark Law, but everything else is just, Goblin, make Firewall Dragon. You guys know the same Goki BS that every other Goki player does. Firewall Dragon hits the field. And this is going to be straight up a duel that he 100% should not have won. But this is the power, the untapped potential of the ShinoBird. So you can see he's just basically link spamming. Unicorn's going to go here. And I believe he's not going to extra link, but it's going to be just as good as an extra link, to be honest. He gets Goblin back. There's Cerberus, Firewall Dragon's constantly going to activate. And he even summons his Droll locks. He's like, I'm going first. Here's where it starts to get spicy. Gumblar, he's going to discard that sword, discard the match change, take 2 cards out of his opponent's hand. And you think, oh, Cap, that wasn't that impressive. Well, it is when you, Link Karibo should be coming out at any point now. He's going to go ahead, activate the effect of Gumblar again, and then he's going to search. So Gumblar is chain link 1. He gets to search first, discards 2 cards, takes 2 cards out of his opponent's hand. He leaves his opponent with 1 single card. The question is, does he have any hope of being able to crack 5? No, hold on, let me make sure I'm counting right. 3, 4, no, is this 6? Yeah, I think this is actually 3 on this side. Yeah, this is 6 Link monsters. Does he have the potential to crack 6 Link monsters with a single pre-preparation of rights? That question will be answered on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. No, it'll be answered right now. He activates ShinoBird's calling. Unfortunate for his opponent, he did have, I believe, 2 Nikitamas and an Aratama in his graveyard. ShinoBird's Calling allows you to banish the targets as long as they are spirits from the grave, and that is really unfortunate because Baron Peacock actually lets you bounce 3 monsters and it does not target. So, you know, rest in pepperonis to all your nightmares. His good cards are basically all gone and he's gonna lose everything. And when the Baron goes back to his hand, he gets himself some tokens, and this duel is basically over at this point, especially considering he topped Malicious. But who knows, maybe he can fight back. Nope, he scooped. He's like, I can't do. You know what he could have done actually? He could have tributed. I don't even know if he runs Beatrice, right? He could have tributed the Cerberus, and then he could have went for another Malicious on field, and he could have maybe summoned Beatrice and just hoped to God Beatrice wins him the game. But I think after having his 6 Link monsters reduced to 1, I think his will to live basically just went along with his Link monsters. But let me go ahead and show you guys the really interesting deck list. It's really not, it's not all that crazy. I've seen multiple ShinoBird decks that look, they kind of resemble this. So this is what the deck looks like on paper, and you know, there are actually some really cool things about spirits that have just kind of come to fruition as of late. I think a lot of attention has really been on a card like Amano Iwado. It's really nice that this deck can actually use Amano going first or second. You guys saw in the first duel, he basically summoned one of his ShinoBirds, the big rituals. They special summon this card from the deck ignoring conditions. So essentially you basically keep it on the field, and if your opponent doesn't have a significant size beater, something like 2,000, they just won't be able to activate any monster effects, or I guess maybe if they're playing spirits, but outside of that, they're basically going to be locked out of activating anything. That includes hand traps too, so that can be really nice if you do need to normal summon this, and then you activate, I don't know, like pre-preparation of rites or brilliant fusion, making sure your opponent can't use things like Ash Blossom on those cards. But this can also be a good card just going second to make sure your spirit effects are going through. I thought that the Nikitama Aratama engine would be a little bigger, but you guys did see that it's a heavily focused invoke deck as well. That's why there are so many, you know, ways to either get the like magical meltdown, or I guess, you know, ritual sanctuary is pretty good in here too. People have always just noted the potential when it comes to the like brilliant fusion plays also having like Alistair the Invoker, because you can go into the Alistair Link monster of madness, and a lot of times you can get those OTKs really easy. I was watching a video that showed off just a couple of card combos with the new Alistair Link monster, and they can be pretty damn devastating, especially if you run Book of Law, the card that lets you kind of like tag out. It's like an El Shadow fusion. It's not in here. Maybe it is something that you could actually consider if you do actually, or some, like if you find yourself summoning Alistair of Madness a lot, because it just gives you a whole bunch more damage. And I really like the Imp Cam Nation, not a really big engine in here, because, you know, there is Brilliant Fusion. There are other cards that let you go into the extra deck like Alistair. But if you don't open up with the invoked engine, then you might actually want to just, you know, play these so that you can pay for your ritual summon rather easily. So I think that this is pretty cool. Hopefully rituals keep getting more support. I mean, I don't know if like ShinoBirds could ever use a Link monster, because ritual summoning and Link summoning don't really go together all that well in my opinion, but I would like to see Konami revisit this deck and give it some more support in the future.